Unfortunately, I don't have as much good karma as Ksenia does. I have to keep on going year after 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 year. I don't have any retirement plan. Do you think we should have like this spiritual director appointed by a vote next year? Would that be a good idea? Just vote who's going to be the head monk. We can have maybe a head nun next year. Is that a good idea? Wow, no one's saying anything. That's why I get landed with the position all the time. My problem, I speak too much. But anyhow, that's me. So this is now the opportunity for doing a little meditation first of all, and then once the meditation is so many talks, thousands of them. I don't think there's any subject which I've never given a talk about. Is there? Well, all the talks I give at least like a couple a week, and I've been here over 40 years. So how many talks is that? Huge number. And sometimes there's talks over in Bodhinyana Monastery, an invitation to give a talk somewhere else. I've given a lot of talks. A mega talker. But you have to, you all know this, I think I did tell you the story about the talkative tortoise, didn't I? How many of you haven't heard the story of the talkative tortoise? Wow, quite a few. When I heard this, I really related to it. Once upon a time, as I'm going to tell a little story, I'll start the meditation a bit later. Once upon a time, there was a tortoise who lived up in the mountains. And the tortoise, was always chatting about something to everybody. And once the tortoise started talking, he wouldn't shut up. He kept on talking, and no one else had a chance to say anything. He talked so much that eventually all the friends he had would run away. Any other tortoises, rabbits, birds, they'd always fly away and hide. They didn't want to get into a conversation where this tortoise fellow was going to talk so much. And even when the tortoise went in the lake, even the fish would hide. Because once you started talking with this talkative tortoise, it would go on all night. But actually the tortoise was very, very, very lonely. And the only friends who were kind enough to listen to him were these two swans. And they would listen to him until the stars ran out of twinkle, until it was so late at night. But they would always listen out of kindness, because no one else would listen to the talkative tortoise. So you have to listen to this, because if you don't listen to it, you'll find out you may end up like talkative tortoise ended up. It's not a happy ending. So talkative tortoise, the only friends were two swans, and these swans would visit, and they would let talkative tortoise talk to them all night. But then, when it started getting cold, the swans had to leave and go back to where it was warm, down close to the city. So they told the tortoise, we're going to leave soon, and that made the tortoise very sad. We can't fly, and tortoises can only walk very slowly. So by the time we get to your home, we'd have to come back again. And the two tortoises said, we can help you. The tortoises were very, very smart. But you have to make one promise. And then we'll help you and take you down where we live, in a nice lake next to this, in the city, where it's nice and warm. And what you have to promise is to keep your mouth shut. Can you keep your mouth shut? Did anybody ever tell you to keep your mouth shut and you didn't do it? So this is serious, I said, you got to keep your mouth shut. And they said, yeah, of course I can keep my mouth shut. I always keep my mouth shut. I'm a very good tortoise. We tortoises hardly ever speak about anything. We're really good, and we're very quiet. Another half an hour later, they said, no, this is serious. You've got to keep your mouth shut. And they got a big stick. One swan bit into one end of the stick. The other swan bit into the other end of the stick. So they're holding both ends of the stick. And they told the tortoise to bite on into the middle. And with the tortoise biting into the middle, and the two swans on either end, the two swans flapped their wings harder and harder and harder and harder and harder until the swans took off, carrying the stick. And in the middle of the stick, what was in the middle of the stick? The tortoise. And that was the first time in history a tortoise ever flew. And when they... So I've got to stop myself. When the tortoise was flying high up into the air, he was quiet because he was taking notes, trying to remember all the amazing sights he was seeing to tell all his friends when he got back home after he was tore up in the air. And then they flew down over where the city was, and they flew down. It just happened to be about 3:30 in the afternoon when they flew over one of the schools in the city, just when the kids came out of school in the afternoon. And one of the children looked up, and what do you think the kid saw? Saw a flying tortoise. And what would you do? You'd turn around and point it out to your friends, hey, look at that stupid flying tortoise. And what did the tortoise do? Who are you calling stupid? He couldn't keep his mouth shut. And because of that, the tortoise, what happened to the tortoise? The tortoise went splat on the ground. When you fall from such a high level, you become hamburger patty. And that was the end of the talkative tortoise. So if your dad or mum or whoever says to you to be quiet, always tell your kids a story of what happens when you don't learn how to be quiet when you really need to. Otherwise you'll end up as Polish hamburger patty. Very tasty, but your dad will be very upset. Okay, so I should stop talking too much, as usual. Otherwise I'll end up as hamburger patty. Okay, so let's do some meditation. So if you can close your eyes. With your eyes closed. So please don't talk while the monk is, otherwise you'll end up as a Greek hamburger patty. And then when I start meditating, I just learn how to relax to the max. And I usually start by being aware of my body, starting with my feet. I've been doing this for years, and I always find this the best way. I relax my feet. But I relax them part by part, toe by toe. I've learned over the years to be able to experience the feelings of my toes. Very rarely do I have that opportunity to spend time with a part of my body which is so far away from my head. Feel my toes? Relax them. Feel the balls of my feet. There's no pressure on them, but I relax them anyway. to the heels of my feet. Can you know how they feel? Can you sense them? And the uppers of my feet, they're kind of tingly, itchy. Whatever name you give to those feelings is only a slight indication of how you can experience them. But as I'm experiencing any sensations in that part of the body, I make sure I relax as many of those feelings as possible. Sometimes, like I'm going to do now, that I'm going to just move the big toe on my right foot, because it's being squashed a little. Just that much, it's showing my intent to relax my body. Oh, and it feels much better, honestly. I go to my ankles and my feet. Relax them. And sometimes I just use some imagination. I imagine the ankles of my feet just being bathed in warm, hot water. Warm, hot water, but warm, comfortable water. So they can just have no pressure on them at all. Imagine my calves of my legs. Imagine the calves of my legs relaxing everything. Going up to the knees. Can you feel any sensations in your knees? When you ask your knees, how are you? You can usually feel something. What I feel is very comfortable. I can let those knees relax even more. Like they're sinking into the softest of cushions. And go up to my thighs. Big muscles. Relax everything. Even just suggesting relax, and they usually follow. I've been practicing like this for so many years. I know how to relax, even a part of my body like my left thigh. And I go up to my buttocks, and I allow them. I can feel the sensation of the weight of my body being transferred onto the meditation cushion through my buttocks. That's a sensation which, as long as it's even and not too extreme anywhere, it disappears. Because I learned that insight from this experience. The body only notices changes in sensations. And if nothing really changes, those sensations appear the same. That feeling disappears. And I go to my waist, making sure the belt holding my lower robe up is loose enough. There's no tension there. And imagine just going up my spine, keeping the right curvature, and relaxing everything as I go up. Just the will to relax, and you find relaxation happens. You get to know what it's like to have a relaxed back. And over the years you can overcome all sorts of aches and pains. Then I go up from my torso again. And then I go up, just up the torso from the inside this time. Scanning the internals of my body and relaxing everything. Going up centimeter by centimeter. And I enjoy this. Relaxation is joyful. As I go up my intestines, you can relax things. So if there's any irritation from eating the wrong thing, any indigestion, or sometimes I can notice any of those organs around the back somewhere. If I can sense that they're a bit inflamed or tense, you can just will them to relax, and they do. This is my body. I've learned how to look after it and relax anything. I teach this to cancer sufferers as well. If you come across some part of the body and it feels strange, it feels just inflamed, one of the nicest things you can do for your own body is to give it kindness, to relax it to the max. This is where things like cancers disappear. They don't have a chance to grow. You go up to my stomach. It feels nicely at ease today. Go up to my lungs. There's no stress on my lungs today. I don't need to breathe very much. I'm just sitting still, relaxing to the max. From my lungs, I go to that part of the body housing my heart, and I relax all those muscles surrounding the heart. It feels good, honestly. It feels really good. I have to say that because if you're doing a guided meditation or teaching it, you can't say it feels terrible. I'm just really honest. It feels wonderful. And then I go up to my neck and shoulders. Today my shoulders are relaxed. If you want to know how to relax your shoulders, try scrunching them up first. Make them more tense. And once they're really tense, then let go. When it's tense first, you can understand very easily what letting go means. You take away all the pressure, all the tension. So the shoulders sag and are loose and they feel so comfortable. And I scan my attention down my upper arms to my elbows. And they're just there, no pain, no aches, relaxed to the max. Down the arms to the wrists, and then to the fingers. How have you got your fingers situated now? How are they? I ask them. It's like talking to a friend, how do you feel today? I ask my hands and fingers, how are you right now? It's my kindfulness, the awareness of them, with also being kind to them. So I can adjust them so they feel comfortable, which I'm doing right now. And from the hands I move back to my neck. And I always notice that as long as the head is well positioned on top of the neck is usually very comfortable. And I also try and lean that head slightly backwards. And that keeps me more alert. And your head doesn't droop. And I go to the front of my face. I'm aware of it. How it feels around the eyes and around the mouth. And I learn how to relax those feelings. Especially around the eyes, when that's nice and loose and comfortable. It means there's no anxiety or fear or tension or controlling. Everything is loose and at ease. Comfortable, joyful. And that's the thing which I kind of discovered. I didn't actually see in any book. I experience my body now, having relaxed the body part by part. It does feel really nice, pleasurable. And I enjoy that relaxation. To take the relaxation even deeper, I start to notice the mind. First of all, I learned to stay in the present moment. I'm reminded that I'm supposed to give a talk soon, but that's in the future. I'm not going to waste the pleasure of this moment by worrying about something which has not happened yet. I notice that now when I relax in this present moment, that is where I build up the future. And if I'm at peace now, the future will be peaceful. And as for the past, I always look at the past and make sure I'm not a prisoner of the past. Whatever has happened is gone. And that allows me to be in this present moment, peaceful and relaxed. The next thing I do is not thinking. If you're one of these people who talk a lot to yourself, one thing you can do is slow down your thoughts first and know reality by how it feels, the emotional response you have to what's happening, rather than an intellectual response. To me, the peace, the happiness, is what I'm aware of. That's beautiful for me. So here I stop talking. I'll ring the gong later. It's getting close now to the end of the meditation, but not yet. How do you feel? Please get to know, not as a theory, but as an experience. What does 25 minutes, 26 minutes of meditation mean for you? How beautiful is it? And why? Meditation has so many beautiful benefits. So see if you can notice some of them. How relaxed you are. How at ease. How joyful it is. I will now ring the gong. When the sound of the gong vanishes, then please complete the meditation. Thank you. Wow. Thank you all for participating. And if you had even half the joy which I was feeling just then, well done.